Master Bruce, happy Halloween.
It's an absurd holiday.
Oh yes, putting on costumes and striking fear. Quite absurd.
All it takes is one bad day.
You've eaten Gotham's wealth, its spirit, but your feast is nearly over.
This is not my home. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon. Why aren't you laughing?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
Welcome to the Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight Library. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer. Batman Book Club is a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by Batman on Film. Just go to batmanonfilm.com, click on podcasts, and you'll find the Batman Podcast Network that has a whole list of other Bat-related shows that also like to dive into other nerdy subjects that all of us, especially this time of year, love to frolic about in our free time. Pete's frolicking right now. If you want to support the show, you can also do it on patreon.com/thebatmanbc. Now, thank you for listening to episode 216, Batman in October. Scary. Joining me on this, as always, as another month wraps, dressed as a frolicker, it's Peter R. Verra. Peter, hello.
I'm wearing a long sleeve like sweatshirt thing. No frolicking.
Frolickers wear everything. What are you doing for Halloween? What are you dressing up as, Pete?
Nothing. I've been dressed for Halloween since I was like 16.
You haven't? Oh, that sucks.
No.
You were whoa. You were the Riddler in 2022.
That's not dressing up as Halloween. That's wearing my winter.
Oh, that was just your. Oh, okay. That was. That was your
dressing up for Halloween.
Dressing up for work. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I bought a mask. I didn't dress up for Halloween.
Now, where you're at, do you get trick or treaters? Does your area go all out for Halloween?
I don't know if it goes all out, but it's definitely active.
It's active. Okay, that's all you can ask for. That's a good environment.
The doorbell will ring. There'll be some kids. It'll be nice.
No, in our area, we've got to go somewhere to see there. I mean, there's definitely areas that go all out, but like where we're at, it's not really. So we want to be in that environment when we can. Actually, last year, I was traveling for work and I was driving in a snowstorm on Halloween, so that was fun. Weird. Yeah, very weird. Out in the middle of nowhere in Indiana, snowstorm.
Do you think it was Mr. Freeze?
It was. It's all connected. That told me Halloween night 2023, Mr. Freeze will be the villain in the Batman Part 2.
See, it all comes back to the Batman Part 2.
It's all there.
It's all right there.
Pete, let's talk about some Batman comics, okay? Let's talk about the new ones that came out in October of 2024. Okay. Let's start this party with a bang. Batman 153. I wrote down good old Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, back together again. Absolute power tie-in issues are over with. A whole new arc. DC is all in, all the time. Yada yada. This issue was better than Batman's been. Overall, I'll say like it was a good issue. My hesitancies are in maybe what it's hinting of what's to come, especially by the last panel. If you don't want to hear spoilers, skip 30 seconds ahead. 3, 2, 1. I feel like they're hinting at Lincoln March, leaning into the Lincoln March Bruce's brother thing again, and I don't like that. It annoys me a little bit in the fact like it's another Zdarsky thing dipping into somebody else's run previously on Batman and pulling from that, and it's not like a continuation per se. It's just like, man, but I don't know if that's the route that they're going to take, but that's the vibe that I got. Otherwise, everything else about the issue I thought was actually kind of fun. It was all right. What'd you think?
When was the last time Lincoln March was around?
He showed up in, I believe, Eternal. Batman Eternal. And I think that was the last time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I didn't make that connection actually. I kind of forgot about him, but that's a good call by you.
I enjoyed this. This was more Batman than excuse me, Batman has been.
Yeah,
Fake Captain America is an interesting take. I don't expect him to be around long.
I don't either.
Was shocked that Nakano ultimately sealed his fate. It's been a long time coming for him. I feel like that's a character that they've wanted to make bigger that just never took off. I don't know. Like he's been
I
around
agree.
since Tomasi, I believe, at the end of
I
Tomasi's
agree.
run. Yeah, and
He was
then
prevalent
Nakano
in
did a lot
the
with
like the
him.
neighborhood stuff, right?
Yeah,
He really started to become a main face then.
Tamaki did a lot with him.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Riddler's involved, obviously, which is cool. And now that I think about it, the owl thing now makes sense because they do tease it with an owl. So that's a good call by you, Lau. You become quite the detective.
yeah.
Very nice.
Look at me.
You
I'm
read a lot of
influenced by my
Batman.
reading material.
There you go. But yeah, like overall, this is just a good issue of Batman. Hopefully, Mr. Jimenez finally gets his classic tale to illustrate because it's well overdue. He's got nothing but crap. Even as much as I like Joker War, it's just it's too controversial. Like, can we just
Yeah,
give this guy a home run some point? Um, yeah, no, overall, very good issue of detective of Batman.
yeah.
And
That was a Freudian slip
Zdarsky
right
seems to
there.
yeah, Zdarsky seems to be kind of Jekyll and Hyde with Batman. Like he can write a
Yeah,
good issue, then he can come in with a clunker. So it's all wait and see. I'll be honest, man. Now that I just said that, Zdarsky's run on Batman probably isn't one I recommend in a trade because it's like you're gonna buy half of a trade you don't like. You're spending what $30. It's probably one of the more inconsistent runs. Not necessarily bad, but inconsistent.
I think I could only recommend the trade that was like that basically Batman Begins trade. But that's like because it's kind of contained
Hmm.
and there isn't any fail safe in that one.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that might be the only one that I really could. Let me pick your brain on a couple specifics of this issue. So
Hmm.
you said Riddler. I'm glad you mentioned that because I like that. That's an intriguing use of what how he's gonna fit into this story. I like that. Uh, it might be me nitpicking, but I feel like right now writers of Batman are trying to do the whole like there's dialogue from Gordon, affordable housing, social services. It turns out it's not just batarangs to stop crime. Almost like there's that's starting to come up often. Of almost like the well, if Batman would just stop beating people and Bruce Wayne actually, helped out his community. Like for some reason that's gaining traction. And so that's really annoying me.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I feel like they flipped Nakano and kind of made Nakano seem like a dick in this issue. He's been someone that we've been rooting for. I like even when he was kind of clashing with Batman, I never felt him as like an enemy up to this point. And then
Yeah.
whoever this Leonid guy is that meets him in his office, I don't know who that is. Did it ring a bell for you?
No.
He almost looked like Roz.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It hasn't. He did
Okay.
not.
I didn't know
So
if I missed that like, oh, this is a character that we should know, and
unless I'm
I didn't
forgetting
recognize him.
something, because
Okay.
it has been inconsistent. I don't. Has Zdarsky used Nakano that much outside of this issue? I can't even
I don't
remember.
feel like he has.
I feel like it's been a while since we even
It's like
saw him. Like, oh wow, here he is. So
yeah, and then your Captain America reference guy, I don't really care for him. It seems a little too like dorky, and then Batman suited up, uh, midday, middle of the streets, a lot of eyes on him too. And I'm like,
it feels like Gotham and was it Gotham and Gotham Girl, like kind of like that. Except like, I don't know if this guy can fly, but it's like, oh, here you go. Here's another
yeah.
weird newcomer in Gotham with a crazy costume.
But we'll see. This is issue one of this arc, so we'll see what's coming. At this point, I think when I wrote my review for BOF, I might have said like a solid B, maybe B plus. Like I think it was like a solid B, and I'll stand
That's
by that
fair.
still. Of like I thought it was good. It was better than it's been.
Mhm.
Moving on next, Batman Scooby Doo Mysteries number 10. Did you read it?
No,
Okay.
that did not that didn't make the cut this week.
I
But
will
please tell me all about it.
always, I will always allow you to speak for yourself rather than speak for you. But I assume that you probably hadn't.
Well, in that
It
case, in
really
that
is going to
case.
be when Scrappy makes his debut, and I'm going to be like, Pete, read it, and you'll be like, well, I don't know, and I
Now's the
go, no,
time.
read it now. It's happening, Pete. Okay, I don't want to tip you off.
I'll
Or
actually
anything.
buy it. I'll buy it.
buy it sight unseen. So that'd be a great trick if like next month I do.
They just have
say
to put them
all
on
of
the
that.
cover. If they just put them on the cover, I'd buy it. I'd have my issue. I think I have like the first 3 issues, and then it would be a long gap, and then scrap these first 3.
Volume 1, first 3 issues, not until volume 3, issue 11.
Yeah,
Pick it back up.
like whoa, this is a real crazy gap here, dude.
Uh, let's see. This one written by Amanda Diebert with art by Eric Owen. This one was all right. It felt like kind of typical. It had a lot more gags and funny moments in it with Shaggy and Scooby, which is fun to read. Felt right out of the show. And Harley Quinn is a mechanic, but then there's like they really lean into Christine in this, and there's like a haunted car that is trying to chase them down throughout. What's Harley's
Like
connection,
Herbie?
if any? Yeah, Herbie fully loaded. Atmosphere is fun. It's at night. It's like storming out and stuff, and then they're in a small town, and so it's like a lot of fun vibes. Doesn't necessarily, it stands out a little bit more than maybe like the past couple have. But it's kind of like what you expect is what you're getting. Fun, easy, 10-minute read. There you go. If you've been reading it, you won't be disappointed. I can't say hurry up and flock to it. It'll blow your mind. But check it out if you can. Another continuation, bi-weekly release, Multiversus Collision Detected. Did you catch up on these?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, this was a lot to take in for one month. There's 3 issues.
I don't think I
came
liked
out
the
this
first
month.
one too much either.
I thought you were just like, it's okay. I think it's fun. Also, to make that really quick, I'm trying to think Miller. So our friend John Samariva is on the art on this, having a blast. And I can't find the writer's name.
Man.
The first issue was hilarious because it was making some rounds because Bugs Bunny does a Sharon Stone Basic Instinct nod.
Oh gosh, I think I remember that.
And yeah, I think I saw somewhere that was just like, this is inappropriate for this comic book. And I'm like, okay, give it to any kids. No kid's gonna pick up the reference.
What about the children?
What about the children? Brian Q. Miller is the writer. So basically, in a nutshell, it's not a mother box, it's a daughter box that's causing all of Warner Brothers IP clashing in one world. So you're kind of getting a mix of everything.
So it's DC's version of Space Jam. Got it.
Yeah,
Space
and
Jam
it's
2,
a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's definitely spreading it out to where I wouldn't even say that I'd say Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are all the main characters. Like nobody takes the lead. Whereas Godzilla versus Kong versus Justice League, I think we could say Superman was the main character in that one. This one it's kind of evenly spread. And the amount of the fun IPs and how they merge them. So like a little spoiler alert is Wonder Woman's flying in Africa and she gets attacked by a bunch of flying apes. And then like the Wicked Witch comes flying in and takes her on, and then Gorilla Grodd shows up. So it's like fun clashing of stuff like that. It is just kind of like fun. It's not.
Do you read it while you eat your cereal in the morning?
No, I can't focus on 2 things at once like that, Pete. I take my cereal eating very serious. I'd watch the hell out of like a cartoon like this though. Overall, it's a lot of fun. So in the end, there you go. A lot of fun. 2 issues, I believe, come out next month, and then that'll be.
You're buying the trade?
That'll be it. Yeah, I'll buy the trade.
If it comes out hardcover, you getting it?
Yeah, so far, like for sure, 4 issues in. Yeah, I am having a lot of fun with this to where, give it to me. Let's see. Also, that Tuesday, I didn't have this written down, but, the All In special came out that Tuesday, and I think you're a better explainer of the effects that's supposed to have.
I thought it came out last week.
No, it came out October 2nd.
I don't remember. I didn't read that one because it's an All In flipped. I figured it was just a reprint of the other one, unless I was mistaken.
No, you read it because when we talked about Absolute Batman, and you explained that it's basically all Uxas.
Right.
It's about Uxas and like the birth of like the dark multiverse.
Did I just read this so early in advance? I thought I got confused. I thought we talked about this on the show.
Yeah, we talked about it on BOF when we talked about Absolute Batman.
Oh, is that why I got okay? All right, now I'm
Yeah, yeah,
like my shows are merging. Wow,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
podcast too much. I hang out with Lauer too much. Yeah, no, I dug this. I did read this. Yes, okay, now I'm all clear. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I liked the introduction to this. I did not really like Absolute Batman. I'm not going to give any of these Absolute stories a chance because it's just too miserable for me, in my opinion. Like it's too grim and like I just don't care. Like I'll just stay with the main continuity. That's my jam. If you want new people to read new things, so be it. But it was cool watching Uxas basically become the Uxas of all. I thought that was interesting, how kind of making him one dark side for an entire multiverse. And then on the flip side, it was cool watching Booster Gold just do his normal thing, which eventually leads to a confrontation between him and Uxas. And that's interesting to play out. I don't know if Booster's going to pop in and out of everyone's title. I don't know if he's going to pop in absolute titles alone or if he's going to get his own book. I'm not really sure what's going on with Booster Gold. Um, but it was intriguing enough, and it was a nice, fresh start to a new reboot of the DC universe. So I'm all for, and I do think eventually at some point main continuity and absolute continuity are going to clash. I think that's
Yeah.
going to be the ultimate battle here. Whether and then eventually they'll probably come together and fight Uxas, right? It'll probably be that. That'll probably be it.
Uxas. Uxas
But again,
Fest.
like if you love our dark side as much as I do, they say Uxas so much in
It
this
really
book.
does.
Yeah, I was like, this was written for me. Like I love just reading Uxas.
Pete's all for all in because of Uxas.
Yeah, and then I was all out when I read Absolute Batman #1. I was like, I want one-handed Alfredless Batman to kick the shit out of you.
Massive lack of Uxas for absolute Batman.
Yeah, like
Okay.
give me absolute Uxas.
Well, I definitely, and I don't think I included that in telling you that we were gonna talk about it, but it does nod to, in a sense, like what the absolutes are. It's quickly an all-in special, but it kind of gives, I think it gives an outline of when you're looking at like what does this all-in mean that on the monthly books and the absolutes mean. It's like this book kind of like sets the table for that kind of like what so. There you go. Leading right into the following Tuesday, Absolute Batman #1. I'm not going to go in too deep about it because Pete, you and we talked
Oh
with Bill
man,
on
I
Batman on
forgot
Film, did a
about this
whole,
book.
yeah, did a whole Batman on film discussion that I would just lead people to that. We spoke over an hour and dissected the crap out of it. That I
Yeah,
mean, in summary, you weren't a fan. I'm
it's
still
no
kind of
court of
in the middle.
owls. Say that much.
Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta. Um, yeah, I'm middle of the road, and you're not necessarily a big fan of it. I
Lauer
think,
actually despises it more than me. He's just got that whole like Midwest, like
yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna be polite bullshit going for him.
I
But
think
like, he's
you've
smiling.
heard me. You've you've heard me talk negatively about Batman books on here.
Yeah, in your Lauer way.
Yeah, there we
In
go.
your
There we
Lauer
go.
way. Yeah, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah, okay, sure.
this book is just it's just
I
a
did
little
not like it.
disappointing to my emotional spectrum. And
Yeah,
you are like,
that's.
this thing sucks.
I don't think it went down that way. But anyways, there we go. Track that down and you can hear us like really dissect the hell out of it. But I want to move on and finally give you like the floor for an issue.
Oh
Batman Full
wow.
Moon #1, Rodney Barnes, Steven Subic, who
Hmm.
did Riddler Year One that you and I both loved.
Hmm.
This one instantly in my head thought Night of the Wolf
Yeah.
by your man Neil Adams. What did you think of this issue, Pete?
First of all, Rodney Barnes is like one of the best people to follow on Instagram, so please do that. He does a great job of talking about like just comic books in general, not necessarily his books, but he does like all these. If you want to hear like top 10 horror comics and stuff like that, he does a really good job on his Instagram. So check that out. It's well
You
worth
sent
the
me a reel of his
yeah,
talking about
recently.
this issue, and that was the first time I'd ever heard him talk, and he has such a like cool, chill manner of speaking. I was like,
He's basically
instant
like he's
follow.
basically like Neil deGrasse Tyson's like long lost cousin, I think. Like
Yeah, it was great.
his voice is just that mesmerizing. But like I spent like 2 years trashing Batman versus the Wolfman and Detective, and then I read this and I was like, oh wow, this is how it's done. This feels very just vintage and detective and it feels like this is like an Elseworlds tale that I would enjoy because it almost feels like it could be main continuity Batman. It's not that far out there, right? Other than the fact that this is some sort of werewolf. And I dig that. I don't know. This is just really well written. I don't know how else to describe it other than just the perfect blend of Batman and just insanity. Just Batman doesn't do well. I think in space. I don't think he does well really with aliens, but like, and I'm with you with and I think this falls in the same category, whether it's vampires or werewolves or anything like. I think there's a certain point where Batman is almost kind of just like a tactician in the satellite instead of out there being in combat,
Yeah.
right? But here just Barnes does a fantastic job of just creating suspense and just it's just a beautiful book, like from start to finish. Like it feels like a wonderful Halloween companion piece.
Yes.
I wish it kind of came out earlier in the month, and it was like weekly, because I wish it was done by Halloween, because it just feels perfect. I feel like this is gonna linger on into like December. It's gonna feel a little weird, but right now it just feels perfect, like to read
Yeah.
this as you're handing out candy. I don't know. I loved it, man. There's just something about it. The cover is beautiful. It's very simple. You know what you're getting into. The book just knows what it is. And I've never read any of Barnes' stuff, to be honest. Like his Instagram channel or feed or whatever just popped up on mine maybe like 2 months ago. Like I just started seeing it, and I don't know if it's because he's putting a lot of production value into it or what, or and if he was prepping for this book, but like he's been on my radar for a little bit, and I'm really impressed. And
Yeah.
like I said, he's got a vast knowledge of just comic books in general, so really worth the follow.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought this was a great issue. I was not dreading it in the least of like reading it or anything. It was just, like, oh, okay. Kind of like you said, the, Batman has dealt with a werewolf in the past, and I really like that story. Batman has dealt with a werewolf recently. I was not a fan of that story. So it was
Mm,
okay, let's see. Subic on the art, I was intrigued by it. I'm like, okay, let's see what he's got. He did a couple issues. I think he did an arc on the Penguin, Tom King's The Penguin, which I
mm.
dug. Obviously, Ridley Year One, like I already mentioned. And I think he freaking nails so many panels in this issue, like really awesome Batman imagery, and especially one like in like a like a tunnel where you're seeing
Mhm.
like the hairy outline of the werewolf and Batman just his, silhouette at the end of that. There's one where it's like in the midst of like smoke and lights, and you just kind of like see him a little bit, like his outline, and
I mean, this
it's
splash
just
page right here of the werewolf
atmosphere.
attacking is just magnificent.
Yeah. And then
Like
that's like a
there's no even Batman in here. It's good horror.
yeah, great horror. And I love horror comics.
You,
Um
you, one of
you
my
didn't even
favorite.
mention there's
Oh, I'm sorry.
Zatanna in this.
Yeah, I
Not
didn't
dressed
really
like the
want to
normal
spoil it.
Zatanna. Yeah,
Uh,
there we go. This looks like
I mean,
like
wait a
a
minute, right here.
version that.
That's Satana.
Oh yeah, true. I guess I was thinking of when she was gonna meet Bruce for dinner, and
Oh,
I was like,
yeah. Well,
that looks like
she
that looks
was
like an
dressed as normal.
Azzarello Bermejo Zatanna, like, um,
Yeah, she dresses down at times. One
but
of my
that's true. I
favorite
forgot about that.
panels actually is a very small panel. It's this one right here. It's a it's a long rectangle top of the page. It's just Bruce and
Hmm.
Alfred in the cave, and it's so simple and almost like sleek and modern, and like I don't know, I just like that cave. Like it stands out to me for some reason, and
Yeah.
maybe it's because we haven't had Bruce and Alfred sitting at the back computer talking about a case in, I don't know, 7 fucking years, you know? Maybe that, maybe that just struck a nerve with me. That's another thing this book gets right. It's just, there's a lot of just Batman being Batman and something really extraordinary going on the side. And I think Barnes just literally juggles it perfectly, you know?
The best Batman issues this month were ones that felt like classic Batman. I thought about
Mhm.
that in looking through
And this
some today
cover's
before you and I
amazing too.
recorded. Yeah, that's an awesome cover. This is the one I was mentioning to you of like Batman, like with the light and the
Yeah.
smoke, which is orange. I just think I
This
can't
also is a
rec-
brighter book. Like I don't know if Subek's doing his colors, if somebody's doing the color. Yeah, it says art and cover. So I imagine Subek's doing the colors. Like his Riddler book was very dark and brown and like dark green, right? Like I get that's for Riddler. But here, there's like times where that panel you just showed, it's very bright and orange, right? But then
Yeah.
he does go to that brown look that we saw in Riddler, like in parts of Gotham. And then when Batman's around, it's a lot darker. Like the art in this book is amazing. It
Yeah.
just is. It's maybe not be the cleanest in some facial expressions. Like it's a little bit like gritty there,
Yeah.
right? But kind of like a Dustin Wen. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
he's not like a thin, clean line guy, but it's just like you're like, man, it still works. It's very powerful. Like it's
I
a beautiful book. I would buy this and hang this up at wintertime in Halloween time as like it's just like
and
wall
winner, why not?
decoration.
I would tell DC Universe Infinite Ultra members, I believe in November this should be dropping, and I recommend this issue to Batman readers. Now there are certain ones that I know flat out that won't be interested. Doesn't matter how good it could be. It's just the fact he's fighting a werewolf is like no. But for the most part, I'd recommend people like to read this because this is a blast of an issue.
This
Good
was
start.
surprisingly good.
I believe this is 6 issues. And I can't remember if it's monthly or bi-monthly. But let's see. A new team also takes over Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin number 14. Philip Kennedy Johnson and
Big fan
Javi
of PKJ.
Fernandez. Well, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with this one then? What do you think of this?
If you haven't been reading, if you're not familiar, PKJ wrote, excuse me, recently, some Superman. He's been doing Hulk over at Marvel. He pops up here and there everywhere, DC and Marvel both, but those were I believe, his most recent two stays. Real kind of just really grew to be a fan of this guy through his Superman stuff. And it's probably been the best Superman stuff since I'd say Rebirth, I guess. I'm trying to get it seems like they reboot a lot more often these days
Yeah.
than they used to. But this just starts off with a bang. Classic Batman. Again, like we've said this a lot this episode. Just Batman being Batman,
Yeah.
just
Not that hard, right?
yeah. And even here you've got Bruce and Damian kind of talking it out. They're still doing this book leans heavily into the father-son thing, which I think is cool because it seems to be the only book that actually does that, so I don't have a problem with it. And as I'm just flipping through here, again, who is the artist on this book? Mr.
Javi
Fernandez.
Fernandez.
Again, another beautiful issue. Fernandez is a big fan of rectangles. A lot of rectangles here. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I can't wait to see where it leans. Interested to see who this guy is at the end. But again, just a wonderful introductory tale. I've nothing but faith in PKJ, to be honest. I think he's going to crush it, and I'm really excited because it seems like we're getting a lot of good writers on a lot of these Batman titles now that we have a bit of a creative change.
I think Williamson on Batman and Robin was a little mixed bag, but not at any point was it like, oh, this is just bad. It was just, it felt a little teenish to me. Some of like the whole like Damien, my son, I love you, my son, I need you, my son, like a little bleh. Johnson doesn't have that at all
No.
in this issue, and I'm glad because it's kind of what I was telling you when those moments would pop up in previous issues of like, Pete, like we know that this is his son. We don't need the like gag me little moments. And hey, guess this whole issue, even though it wasn't there, they still knew that Damien was Bruce's son. Like it was completely fine that it was absent. Like you said, some cool Batman moments, completely, especially in the opening action scene. This it's not a mummy that comes back, but whoever, yeah, I'm kind of like, huh. And not in a way like, oh, cool. Yeah,
Is everyone doing their Halloween issues?
Is this like an updated Gentleman Ghost kind of thing?
Maybe. I didn't think about that. Okay.
I don't know. But I did like the fundraiser. Batman's got to, sneak away, or Bruce has to sneak away. He can't suit up as Batman. It's too obvious. Like those can be really fun moments.
I don't get enough Bruce Wayne doing those things in the books anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I don't care if it's some generic charity event or what. It doesn't have to be anything really part of the story.
Yeah.
But those moments are fun. Emergency Alfred, when
Yeah.
Alfred was alive.
Exactly.
Batman Forever did that wonderfully twice. So the haters could suck it when it comes to Batman Forever. But again, Johnson is I think he's a fantastic writer. I don't think he's talked about enough. I'm excited that he finally got a crack at Batman and Robin. I've enjoyed the Williamson run, but I can see your arguments, and I think it's valid. And again, Johnson does it perfectly here. He's well
Yeah.
balanced. Never is it cheesy, but it feels very actiony and it's mysterious. And just okay, you teased me enough to the point where I'm ready for next month's issue. So
Yeah.
again, like I'm all in. I'm really
You're all
enjoying
in.
all in on the all in stuff and all out of absolute.
Yeah.
So that continues. And I read one issue, so Wonder Woman and Superman could be gold, but I'm finished here.
Will be interesting if you're finished with the next book. Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age. As we've
Oh,
said since
Lauer.
issue number 1, just Justice League by Gaslight, and DC's not changing the name for some reason.
Dude, this book is a slog. I'm
Yes.
tired. Every issue is an introduction to somebody new, blah blah blah. The same issue over and over again. It's somebody else's origin tale. I'm done with it. This was Cyborgs. It's not even good stuff anymore. It's just you know what
Cyborg
made
and
Gotham by
Superman.
you know what made Gotham by Gaslight so special? It was one and done.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When you try to like prolong these things, it's just, and I don't blame the writer because they're forced to do it this way. So it's this is more of a company book than probably somebody's
And Andy
passion.
Diggle, Leandro Fernandez.
I don't think I'm a fan of Diggle. I don't think I've
I
read much of Diggle I like.
I don't. What else has he done?
I don't remember, but I feel like the
Okay.
name comes up. Maybe I'm just thinking of John Diggle from Arrow, but I feel
That's
like Diggle comes up and I don't like it. I don't know, and that's
it's
going to
his
be controversial in
alias.
itself. Yeah.
But I feel like this book, because it's going to be 12 issues, that they're going to spend the first 6 assembling or introducing, and then they're going to pick up a little bit to where maybe like the collected, it will read better than month to month. I'll maybe get it benefit of the doubt for that, but I do feel like it is kind of a slog, and it's just such a like kind of piss in the face of Batman fans. Be like, okay, Batman's name is on this book, and he gets like 3 freaking pages. I couldn't tell you what the hell his story is even supposed to be about in this book.
This is Lauer talking negatively about a book.
Like, I have no idea what is the story of him, I have no freaking clue. I don't have a clue about anybody's. The most I have is like, I don't know, Lex created Cyborg, and then Superman's a sheriff out west. And G. Willikers, like, look at me, hee haw, and it's like, I can
not
go
good.
along for the ride if it's just captivating, but it's not at all because it's jumping way too much without giving us anything to really latch onto other than just
I'm
like
so glad I never bought this.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I want to read it just to do so I can do the work. And then if it does have a turn to be interesting and start to tell an actual story, then I'll be there for the ride. But it's also like, I have no interest in continuing to read something just to talk negatively about it. I have better use of my time. Nobody wants to sit here and hear me just talk crap about something. It's not
I do. I
fun.
want to hear you get all fired up and passionate and
It's a
maybe
comic
get a
book.
little red.
It's not going to ruin my day because it's a comic book. Like,
Well, then
man,
you're not a fan, Lauer.
yeah. What am I thinking? Burn it down.
Burn,
I can't
burn
recommend
it down.
like
I'm
5
walking into
issues in.
Burbank with a pitchfork.
Yeah. Burn it.
I'm
I
gonna make
can't.
the Snyder cut seem small.
Jeez.
Fix Kryptonian age.
I'm not. Yeah, I can't. I'm not gonna recommend this book, at least to this part. You made it.
Do you blame
known
Jeff
long-
Johns?
I would never blame Jeff Johns on anything.
I don't know. What about Cyborg here? Sorry, it's all connected.
Where's his little Richard?
It's little Richard.
Yeah. So I mean, you said a long time ago something about like you can give a book like 3 issues, and if it doesn't get you, then you're like, okay, you get like I gave you 3 shots, nothing. I've given this 5 shots and nothing.
These days,
so,
that's what, $15?
Yeah,
I gave you
yeah.
$15.
That's fair. That's very generous I gave you $15 to try and get me hooked. So I don't know, man. Like this was the last issue of anything that I read because I was dogging it,
Yeah.
and dreading it. And
It's a
like,
slog.
I think it'll be that way next month too. So
You know what it needs?
Jeff Johns.
Ooksher!
Maybe that's what it's building to. The final panel, issue 12, is Ooxus, and you can be like, buy this book. Totally worth it. All right, the next Tuesday of the month, Pete. Let's get some positive talk going. Mark Waid, double dose of Mark Waid. Batman and Robin, year one, number one.
Oh,
Mark
yeah.
Waid writer, Chris Samney is the artist. Take us away, Pete.
Just go out and buy it. Just go out and buy it. Enjoy it. It's
Speak
probably,
nothing. We say buy it.
Just
Moving
go
on.
buy it. That's it. Like this is it. Like if I was Justin Kowalski, I'd be like Batman and Robin year one. This is it. Like this is it, dude. This is what you want to read. This is Batman. This is it's perfect. I can't speak highly enough about this book. Just go buy the book. Just do it. Just go buy the book. Do yourself a favor. Just go out and buy it.
Pete, this issue definitely feels like a classic Batman type of story.
Yeah.
They're at the manor. There's Alfred. Batman and Robin are doing Batman and Robin things. Robin
Batman
is
has
Dick
two
Grayson.
hands.
Batman has two hands. They meet Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop with the bat signal. Robin's a little overconfident because it's his first night out. It's the debut of Batman and Robin. It's in the title, year one. Like all of it is like a really fun, good first issue. That's
More
also
of
like
this.
also borderline, like kind of mature. You know, it's not kidified at all. It's kind of mature, but not too mature. And then the art, I thought the art was fantastic. I thought it looked
perfect.
very like inspired by Darwin Cook, kind of classic looking vibe, but darker, like literally darker and like more bold, black, bold, like lines and everything around it to just give it a darker like look visually. But yeah, I don't want to say anything else about it. I just thought this was really good and highly recommended. I
Yeah.
hope every single issue is like this, and that'll be hard to do 12 issues this good, but this one was just no complaints. It was exceeded expectations.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Mark Waid was also on World's Finest number 32. Also came out this month with art from Adrian Gutierrez. I think almost the exact opposite about this Mark Waid book. I didn't enjoy this. This is not for me. I don't know really what even happened. I didn't enjoy this issue.
Yeah, something about Eclipso. I'm with you. I didn't really dig it. It's not really for me either. I like the cover. Eclipso is always a villain.
I like
do
the cover.
I do like the cover. I mean, it's not Batman and Robin year one, but it's still a cool cover.
Like
I mean, if
Superman and Batman are like
yeah,
right on the
it's a
front,
good, if you're doing Halloween wall art decor, and you're doing a comic book theme, then you've got two issues here between this and Full Moon. Eclipso is a villain that sometimes works for me, sometimes doesn't. Last time I felt I dealt with Eclipso, I think it was in the Stargirl TV show, and I thought they did a
Oh.
fantastic job there.
Nice.
Again, yeah, this is a little too more out there for me. This is definitely Kowalski territory. He'll be happy. Green Lantern's there, Flash is there, Dr. Fate, half the Justice Society. Right.
Yeah.
This is all up Kowalski's alley. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll follow it digitally for the show, but I'm not. This is a book I'm probably gonna have to pick up physically.
Yeah. I'm
But
not
also
picking it
on the
up.
cover is the 89 Bat logo, so
That's true.
it's worth collecting if you're an 89 fanatic.
Yeah.
Which they don't have in Chicago.
Okay, I was waiting for it. I was like, Pete, you gonna finish that thought? There you go.
Don't disappoint.
Let's move on. Next Tuesday. Whoa, the moment we've been waiting for, the moment Pete's been waiting for. Writing a good review for Detective Comics. Because
been 2
Detective
years.
Comics,
2
number
years
10,
since Detective Comics had a cohesive storyline.
1030, written by Tom Taylor.
1090.
Art from 1090. I don't know why I wrote 30. Thank you. Written by Tom Taylor, art by Mikhail Yanin. You get to kick us off.
I mean, right off the bat, Batman with a bloody victim here, talking to some creepy guy in the shadows. Feels like Batman all over again. This was wonderful. Tom Taylor did not disappoint. For Thomas Wayne fans like Lauer, he plays a big factor in the book. Not a linear tale back and forth between Thomas and Bruce. For anyone who got upset about Batman smacking the kid with the gun, let's be realistic. Come on, the kid was pointing a gun at Batman. What the hell do you think he was going to do? That's kind of absurd. But again, Batman doing investigative detective work in tunnels, in the sewers, getting dirty in the trenches with Oracle, then at a party afterwards, acting like a goofball. I love it. Wayne Tech is involved. Lots of twists, lots of turns. Having a lot of fun with it. Tom Taylor's back. Detective is legible again. It's wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's really fantastic. And this cover kicks ass. So that's another great cover.
Yeah. The main cover, right? The all-in
Yeah.
cover.
I mean, look at this
Okay.
thing. This just looks like a
Yeah.
Batman book. This looks like
Looks
a
good.
Batman book. Looks
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so,
Um,
everyone, no one has more than two eyes. It's wonderful.
copy paste. I really dug the flashback stuff. I liked the current stuff that sets the table for what this at least arc's gonna be like. The art was fantastic. Looked great. Each page, it just read so bat like it's so with ease, and like I read it twice, and it was like Batman's doing Batman things. I know you and I talked about it already of reading it, and both of us said that like it's Batman and he's doing Batman things. That's kind of sometimes
Yeah.
it's all we really want. Stop effing with the formula and making it garbage. Like this is good stuff. And
It's only worked for 80 some years.
there's two things though. So comicbook.com wrote an article and said DC just made a major change to Batman's origin story.
Which they
And
didn't
Tom
at all.
Taylor, I don't know if it was on his Facebook page or what, and he said with our first issue of Detective Comics, Batman's origin has changed forever. I think that's hyperbolic, and I don't think that's true. I don't
Yeah.
want to spoil it for somebody who's waiting. By the way, read this issue when you can. It is good, period. Um, I just don't think with what they're referencing in the issue, this is just one issue. It is something that to me did not muck up anything. You could totally insert this or remove it and it won't necessarily change anything.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that that's like a bad thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. It doesn't
Mhm.
like it kind of adds to it. It's another like sub chapter in the history of the Waynes that you could add and
To
you'd
me,
be fine.
honestly, Lauer, it was no different for me than finding out that one day Dr. Thomas Wayne saved the life of the Roman, right? Like
Yes. That's what I
was
thought of
like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm like, I was like, you guys got to stop complaining about bullshit because it's been a lot worse. I don't want to hear about Six Out
Yeah.
Sally ever again. You know, like, I'm being brutally honest. Like, this is dumb. This is dumb fanboy bullshit. You guys got to stop.
I'm glad you
You guys
said
been
that.
reading Batman long enough. If that's what you're complaining about. Sorry,
The,
calling you
the
out as a fraud.
the Hippocratic Oath. We heard about that in
Yeah,
the
sorry.
Batman. It's brought up again here,
Mm.
and it's like I don't know, doesn't bother me. So I don't think
That's why
that is
Thomas Wayne is heralded as a wonderful doctor, a wonderful human being. You know,
exactly.
that's why Joker didn't do that so well.
If anybody, um, so if anybody, because some people just read headlines, and by that statement alone could be like, oh, I'm not going to read that. 'Cause it's like it didn't. Ignore. Don't get all hot and bothered over something that it didn't f with anything. That said, Pete and I recommended read it. It's good. Such a breath of fresh air on detective.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
been a long time. Been a long time.
Death in the Family. Robin Lives, #4. The finale to this what if story, if you will, written by I think I ask you every month, J.M. DeMatteis or DeMatteis?
I think it's DeMatteis.
DeMatteis and Rick Leonardi. You and I have been fans of this miniseries, and how I think, oh man, spoiler free. I thought it stuck the landing.
Really?
When it got
Okay.
to a point that teased us by the opening pages in issue 1, I kind of forgot. And I was like, oh, yeah, duh. We've been reminded that this was coming. And then after that, I was like, really? And then the
Mhm.
last panel had me like, oh, okay, interesting. So it was quite a ride overall. This issue, I won't say that like it absolutely stuck the landing, but I don't know that it botched it. And it's just like interesting. What do you think?
Uh I did not like the ending. I
Okay.
think it botched it for me.
All right.
If this is what they were going to do originally, then I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
I can say that much. At times, it gave me vibes of Dark Knight Strikes Again, and other times, it gave me vibes of Return of the Joker. I'm glad I saw it through. Interesting story. I like the idea of DC from the vault or from the DC vault. I think that is an imprint that should stay. I think that's
Sure.
a cool way to market stories that have changed or were altered in some way. I believe there's even as most recently as a certain issue of Tynan's Detective Run had to be changed for some reason. So there's a different version of that floating around the internet somewhere. I forget what it is. I know Special Robin, who knows, but yeah, this is okay. Again, encouraging the imprint. The story again didn't meet the end, but I kind of like the journey, not necessarily the story.
And that's the thing by the end, and I was sitting with it and thinking about it. I'm like, I could not disagree. I could totally see people liking and not liking the end, and I
Mhm.
can't disagree with either way. It's like, huh,
Yeah.
that's a take. And so yeah, I don't know. I think it's in the end, it's worth checking out. I can't fly out like just right out say it of recommend it, read it instantly, like I said for Detective and Batman and Robin Year One and stuff. But if you have the chance to check it out, definitely like for not for free on the DC app or the library when it's collected or something. I say do that and judge for yourself because it's interesting. And yeah, I'm with you of like, yeah, do another DC from the vault. Like, yeah, try it out. You have my attention to do another one. Not a continuation of where this one ends up. Leave this one alone. Let it be. Just let it be. Let's see. Brave and the Bold has a Batman story in it this month, so that's cool. Number 18, written by Christian Ward, uh, City of Madness writer and artist, and with art from Patrick Reynolds. There was a story in this called Doubt. It's the first one. Pete, what do you think of this short story here?
I don't remember. I remember I skimmed through Brave and the Bold. I got to pull it up on the iPad, so you got to tell
Okay,
me.
so I'll start. I think the villain, um, I think his name's Doubt, and by his, like he's got like snake tattoos on his face, and people it's almost like he casts spells on people a little bit. Like police at a bank robbery that he's trying to do, and Batman shows up. He says, "I doubt he's here to do good. Stop him!" And the police start fighting Batman. Like he has that influence on people. That's a little kind of like cartoony and stuff for me, but it's the book opens or the story opens with a young Bruce and Alfred moment. Yet again, Alfred, huh? Weird. And that is like the foundation of the whole story. And that is by far the strong point that like even though the villain's a little cartoony, I really liked this story. I kind of wish it was like in a single issue format because I would buy that. I don't want to spend $8 on this whole book just for this issue. And there's like an art switch too, about midway through when Batman's really having his own little like mental episode that I think is really awesome. But everything comes down to uh Bruce and Alfred. And I think that's like a home run for this short story. I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Actually, now that I have it in front of me, I did enjoy this, even though it involves somewhat of like a crazy supernatural villain. But I enjoy
Yeah.
again. It's kind of like I, even though I don't like Morrison's Batman run, I do
Yeah.
enjoy a good Batman. I've got to mentally defeat this villain because physically I can't do it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
impossible for me to beat this guy physically because if he's inside his head, blah, blah, blah. I like those stories. I just think Morrison sometimes can be a little pretentious and word salady. But this was cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed how Batman insisted on doing it alone. He did, he wanted to do this on his own, even though Nightwing offered his help. I thought that was cool. Again, some of the artwork's really fantastic, especially when he's crashing through the window at the end,
Yeah.
and how they insert Alfred every once in a while as he's when he's monologuing. I thought that was great, and how Batman again flipped the script on Doubt was creative enough. You know,
Yeah.
again, I can't defeat you physically. I have to come up with a new way to do it. So for people who think Batman just beats people up, I thought this was a fantastic story, displaying the opposite. I don't think there's anything else Batman related. There's a streaky story in this
There's a
book.
Robin story at the end. Did you read that by chance?
Let's see. I skipped the Aquaboy story. Robin. I forgot all about this book, to be honest with you. Not that I didn't read it. Oh, there's a Harley story too. Oh, is it the Robins? No, it's different. Uh, I
After the
did read
Harley
this.
story.
Okay, this was interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought it was a fun little Robin story. I like how someone's using Robin to get these kids to do stupid things
Yeah.
and calling them out. I enjoyed the back and forth between Damien and Drake over who is actually Robin. I thought that was
Yep.
cool. I don't really know where it's going. I love the fact that what's his name at the end? Who's this guy? What Moth? Killer Moth. I was gonna say Firefly. Killer Moth had no idea there was more than one Robin. I think that's great,
Yeah.
which probably means no one in
What?
Gotham knows there's more than one Robin, right? Like
Yeah.
it's I love stuff like that. Like we say
Yep.
there's too many Robins, and in Gotham they have no idea there's more than one. So I think that's
Yeah.
fascinating itself. So yeah, actually there were two good Batman stories or Batman related stories in this book. So bravo. I feel like that's not what they do. Usually they give you one and then they give you a bunch of stories about other characters. But I appreciated this. Yeah, I'm all for it. And Killer Moth does look pretty badass in this book.
He does. I like it. Brendan Hay, writer, Marco Santucci as the artist. I do. I'm like, man, guys, if you just put the Robin story with that Doubt story, I'd have bought this. But it's just
Yeah.
the other stuff in between. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't care about. But yeah, if you can read it, I recommend it. Read it. Last Tuesday, because there's 5 Tuesdays this month. Whoop, whoop.
Wow, it's a big
Oh,
month.
Batman, the long Halloween, the last Halloween. Good old Jeff Loeb is back, doing what he does best, writing kick-ass Batman comics. This month, because it's a rotating door of artists. This month, it's the legend Klaus Janson. Um, Good issue. Opens with your man Grundy.
Yeah.
Uh, he's he sleeps with the fishes, Pete. And I think the art's good. There's a great moment where Batman and Robin go to Arkham, which I really liked, and a Calendar Man appearance, but then Batman he goes directly to Mad Hatter, and it's referenced about that Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special with Mad Hatter that you and I have talked about on this show before, which I really dug that. But I think the mystery deepens. It's not confusion. We end up getting a little bit more questions, which is good for chapter 2 of 10, that we should have a little bit more, you know, depth of what the hell's going on here. And it's a way, like, I don't know, I dug it. It's Jeff Loeb writing Batman. It felt like, again, almost like classic Batman. Yes, obviously, the art is different. There's absolutely nothing that anybody can do about that because Tim Sale's not here. So I like this idea of there being, it's so far, I think it's, because count the Long Halloween special that's now counted as issue number 0. We have 3 issues of this story and 3 different artists on each book. And I like it. I'm intrigued. I want to see where it's going next. I dug it.
Yeah, I just go out read it. Robin has pants.
He does, because it's getting chilly out there. He's wearing pants.
He's wearing his green pants. This was great. I enjoyed every page of this. Loeb is back. He feels wonderful. He's right where he needs to be.
Yep.
Again, just go out and read it. You won't be disappointed. I can't recommend this book enough. It's just as good as Batman and Robin Year One. It's perfect in every way. It's absolutely perfect. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see what Loeb has in store for us. It's just there's nothing for me to say. It's beautiful. It is. It's a wonderful Batman story. That's all I can tell you.
We have 2 issues of 2 Rogues Gallery members being shot by people dressed as other Batman villains.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm just
it
like,
kind of broke
okay.
my heart.
Huh. Yeah,
I was like,
I
they
don't.
keep killing you. I don't want to
Now
spoil it.
it was alleged to believe that Catwoman was perhaps shot, but there was no body last issue. Well, that gets answered in this issue, but But another event that happened in the first issue, it does not get addressed here. So and that's what I mean. I'm like, huh, let's cool. I'm all in for this. So yeah, this is anybody who like keep reading it. If you haven't started on this one, go pick up the first issue and the special and get in because I think we're in for another treat of a story. Period.
Uxus.
Uxus. Now it's
Jeff
time for your
Loeb needs
favorite.
to write an Uxus story.
Okay, I'll read it.
You better.
Why not? Yeah.
You better.
Time for your favorite segment, Pete.
Uxus.
And friends.
Batman and friends.
Ooh, let's get that one go.
Uxus.
I could get
Uxus.
is that Andrew Brower that did Darkseid in the Superman animated series?
Dude, come on. It's reporter or bust, bro.
Okay, my bad.
Thank
Sorry. Let's see. There's all I've got are 2 Nightwing issues because we didn't get any Nightwing we were dickless last month. So Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, they capped off their Nightwing series with issue 118. And then this month, and then the following week, Dan Watters and Dexter Soy kicked off the new direction of Nightwing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say I was pleased by the capper by Taylor for Nightwing 118. It was fine. And I think the Nightwing run overall, minus a couple issues I didn't read, I thought was, you and I think might have even mentioned, it's like it was comfort reading for the run. It was, it was fun. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you've got to do it. But it's like I enjoyed reading it. And I have never read like Nightwing that many issues before. The Dan Watters, you and I weren't big fans of his backup stories in Detective on Rom V's run. I'm really, really, really pleased by the first issue of Nightwing. I thought that was really good, a good setup issue, and I thought the art was excellent.
Yeah, I'm with you. 118 is a wonderful send off for Taylor. Again, the wonderful community backing Dick Grayson, Nightwing. That's great to see. I hope the dog's okay.
He is. He's sitting with him and Barbara at the end.
Yeah,
because that was a little devastating of all of it. I'm like, if this dog's dead, this was a failure of a run.
I know,
by
but
Tom
still,
Taylor.
it's still traumatic. This dog got shot.
Yeah, it hurts.
It
hurts,
I
man.
imagine. I would love if Dick Grayson and Babs got together again. That would be wonderful. Like tie the knot. That would be great. That could be a really fun run somewhere. Maybe we can get a little Bat and Bird from Tom Taylor, like we got Batcat from Tom King. That'd be cool down the line. And then I was pleasantly surprised by Waters. The story was compelling. It seems to be more of a Gotham-esque kind of Batman tale, if I'm not mistaken. Like it just feels kind of like that. The art is different from Redondo, so it stands out in that aspect. It looks good. Nightwing looks fantastic. The villains look good. They look creepy. I'm excited to see where this goes. Again, but Dan Waters is he's not someone I completely trust, but he did retweet me when I complimented his book, so I appreciate it.
He did.
But yeah, so we'll see where it goes. But also this is a cool cover, so
yeah,
lots of good
all
things.
In. All in on Nightwing.
Yeah.
All right, what else do you have?
Catwoman 69, written by Turan Grabik and drawn by Fabiana Mascalo. Lauer hates women, so he's not reading this book, but this is a wonderful tale of Catwoman being framed for something she didn't do. Now she's on the run. Seems to be a little bit more grounded than what we were getting from the last creative team. Seems to be leaning on the more of the street level crime stuff than the Supernatural 9 Lives. Catwoman's got a bit of a new suit. The artwork is very interesting. I'm having a hard time comparing this artist to someone I don't really know to come up with, but I like the colors. It feels color-wise, it feels like I'm reading the old Simone DeMeo Batman and Robin stuff, like with Shush. Like it's kind of got that kind of neon-y, purplish, green, blue type look to it. It's definitely different. If I can find the colorist, it is Patricio Duplici. I ruined your name, but I'm sorry about that. Fantastic job on this book. Highly recommended. It is part 1. I wonder if Lauer will ever read it. He refuses to read Catwoman for some reason. I don't know why he hates her so much. But he can explain himself, but I just led you to the way.
And that's it for your Batman and Friends.
He hates Catwoman so much he won't even talk about her. Lauer's most hated movies, Batman-wise, are Batman Returns, Dark Knight Rises, and The Batman, because they all contain Catwoman.
Ooh, so you know what? You
What we
kind
got?
of just called
You
BS on
got it,
yourself.
yeah,
You kind of
Lauer.
just called BS on
Just
yourself.
because
When
I
you
flew
say
to Texas to see
Least
Reinhardt,
favorite, Batman
now
Returns. His least
Batman
favorite Batman
89 is the
Returns.
greatest because
And
there's no
everybody
Catwoman at
knows
all.
but that
Yeah.
that's BS. There it is. Man, we haven't had Terrence Phillip on here for a while.
Welcome to Batman Welcome, a podcast where we don't talk about Catwoman at all.
Here we go. Except we just did. So
Yeah,
that
just suck it, Peter.
that's it. I think we knew last month. I said like we were gonna have a big month here in October. There's some additional stuff. So Christian Ward is doing a Two-Face miniseries, and then
Ooh, wait, whoa, I
Dan
didn't know about
Waters,
this.
yeah,
Two-Face
and
miniseries, really?
and then Dan
Origin tale?
Waters is also going to be doing it. I thought he's doing a Batman. It's not Two-Face. He's got a
Okay.
series that's coming out, but I think that's December. Maybe they're both December. But yeah, so we have some new one will definitely be Batman. The one will be under Batman and Friends. But keep an eye out for those because they're coming up.
Just to
Check
remind
that out.
Lauer, I have Batman 608 signed by Jeff Loeb. Just to remind Lauer.
He does. He also has Batman The Long Halloween #1 signed by Jeff Loeb.
Hush, hush, Lauer. Hush,
Pete!
little Lauer. Don't say a word.
Peter, we did not talk about the Penguin special that came out the last Tuesday of the month.
Well, someone said it was just a bunch of reprints and they weren't going to read it.
I didn't say I wasn't going to read it.
You said it's just a bunch of reprints.
All right. There you go, people. You can listen to Pete talk just like that on Straight Outta Gotham every month.
How you doing, hoes, man?
Quickly, the Penguin special #1 came out last I think I said Tuesday throughout this whole episode. Every Wednesday. It came out the final Wednesday, and there's a short story at the beginning written by Jeremy Adams with art by Howard Porter, which is a pretty twisted little capper to the Penguin Tom King series, in which Penguin he's an evil son of a bitch.
And I believe this is the print debut of Mr. Cobb.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? He's got a top hat.
He's got,
Look at this.
Yeah.
There you go. Interesting.
And there's
I
some
didn't-
great other Penguin tales involved.
Yeah, I
the
didn't
main story is really
see-
short, but it's sweet.
I didn't see how much this costs. It is 64 pages. I think it's got maybe his debut issue, or it's got an old golden age story of Penguin. It's got secret origins special with Penguin, which I have that physical issue in my long box. I'm going through here. There's a Joker's Asylum Penguin story.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, I have that issue in my long box. And then that might be I think that's the last issue.
No,
And
it's
that
a
one
good
written
little
by
Penguin collection.
Yeah. Joker's
Especially if
Asylum
you're,
featuring
you want to catch up on Penguin because the show's so hot right now. Like, obviously that's why they're doing it. They're capitalizing, but like, go for it. Like, many of you probably don't have the older Penguin stuff, and there's a nice little kind of tie-in twist
Nice
to
tease.
modern Penguin.
and Jason Aaron currently writing the TMNT relaunch.
I think he's doing Wonder Woman, also Absolute Wonder Woman as well, right?
He is. Superman.
Is it
I think
Superman?
Superman,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, he did the Joker's Asylum Penguin story that's included in this. But something that Pete, you and I
Who's the
have
artist of
said-
that one? Because I love that story. That's a good one.
Jason Pearson.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good story.
I like
So
Joker's
we're
Asylum
checking out.
overall when that came out. That was a lot of fun to
Yeah,
read.
I think they did two volumes of it. Of like, I don't know how many issues were in each one, but I'm pretty sure they did two.
I think it was
but I got
like
him.
6. Yeah.
6 is good.
There you go.
But
That's why.
you and I mentioned, I sent out a tweet when the Penguin series had started and said Penguin Affair, Tom King's The Penguin, Pain and Prejudice. Shit, what was my fourth? There's a fourth Penguin story, and I'm blanking out now, embarrassing myself. But you and I both said
Didn't we just
Pain and
get it?
Prejudice.
It's recent.
Well, I said the Tom King one.
Oh, okay. Is that the One Bad Day?
Oh yeah, One Bad Day. There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
the One Bad Day. Thanks. Those 4 are like if you're looking for Penguin reading, that is like those 4 are do it. Actually, in the
Penguin
latest
Affair is
issue,
obviously the best because it involves Harold.
it's got Harold. Yes.
Yes.
Penguin Pain and Prejudice. I think finding it physically is a little pricey and hard to do, but
Oh, good, because I have two.
digitally, they're all there for you to read. And that one was actually just mentioned too. The latest episode of The Penguin, there was a moment in that the people behind the scenes directly said that it was lifted from Pain and Prejudice, and also said that Penguin Pain and Prejudice was a big inspiration for the show as well. So if you want
That
some
sucks
Penguin,
for Kowalski.
Pain. But anyways, that's all I got. That's all I got, Pete. So let's wrap it up. Thanks for doing the work.
Let's wrap it
What we do?
up.
Wrap it up. We're done riding. Thanks for doing the work. Let's do it again next month. Tell people where to follow you.
If you want to follow me and all my Exusian exploits, you can follow me at Pete Illustrated, at straight_O_G, at Spidey Coalition, BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube, Batman on Film podcast, and once a month I appear on Brian Lauer's The Batman Book Club to do a monthly recap show covering Batman comics. So make sure you check that out over at the Batman BC and at Lauer_Ryan.
Oh, cool. There you go. Thanks. Yeah, check that out at the Batman BC on the social stiff. I keep saying this, and it is going to happen. I know we only have 2 months left, but Pete and I are going to dive into No Man's Land. It's going to happen.
I gave him a plan. I came up with a whole plan, so it's not my fault.
It's got a little crazy. Okay?
I came up with a whole schematic, and I was like, Laura, let's do this. And he's like, no, it's just a bunch of reprints.
But anyways, you can check out that on the Batman Book Club YouTube channel. We did go through the Road to No Man's Land omnibus. All of those are up on the YouTube channel, so check that out. I'm going to try and post some video episodes because earlier this month I interviewed Batman Resurrection author John Jackson Miller, who Pete met and got signed at New York Comic Con. I do have a video episode of that I want to get posted, as well as the previous episode with Tim Sheridan, who Pete also met in person and got stuff signed.
Read his Shazam story, please. Stop slacking off.
I got video versions of those that I want to get up on the YouTube channel. So there you go. Like I said at the top of the show,
you gotta get Krieg on, man. You gotta get Krieg.
That'd be great. I wonder what he would dress up for. Scooby-Doo. You support the show in a variety of ways. Patreon.com/thebatmanbc, tpublic.com, type in TBBC for the Batman Book Club. But if you don't want to spend any money at all and want to support the show, variety of ways, or not variety of ways. The cheapest, most impactful, and easiest thing you can do is rate and review the show. However you listen to it, go to the rate and review page and rate and review the show.
Don't forget, all complaints go to Holzman.
All complaints go to @FinalE33. He's nicked up right now. Rate and review the show on every podcast platform that you listen to. The more reviews the show gets, the more it helps spread the word. And as we all know, that word, this month at least, is
panic.
Oh, I thought I gave you the chance to Ooxis drop.
No, I've already said my Ooxis
is panic. So for Peter R. Verra, I am Ryan Lauer. Until next time, remember the